I'm going to let you into a trade secret here. Translating the Bible, and the New Testament in particular, is often a case of remembering. I am of a generation that was expected to memorize Bible verses as a regular part of our Sunday school experience. So thank you, Gladys Hardy, for encouraging me to do this. Yes, being a competitive little chap, I wanted to get my sticker each week and then claim a prize when I'd filled my card. But whatever the motivation, I learned a lot of verses and some of them stuck. Of course, we used the King James Version back then, a great and noble translation in its day, but perhaps even then showing its age. So when I moved into the teenage class with John Partington, we used the much more modern Revised Standard Version. And by and large, this is the Bible that still comes to my mind when I'm quoting from memory, sometimes supplemented with J.B. Phillips' Gospels in Modern English, which I read at home. As a student at the British Bible School, back when we hosted a residential programme at Corby, we were taught the Greek alphabet and how to use some of the basic study tools, and I thank my teachers for this. When I went up to university and started to study the New Testament in Greek, I had a head start on most of my fellow freshers. While we were taught to read the New Testament in Greek, as I said, often this became a matter of remembering. So, say you're looking at a Greek text and you notice that the word makarios occurs 9 times in quick succession. Makarios can mean happy, or favoured by the gods, or blessed. Actually, not an easy word to translate into modern English. I suggest that the blessed is not used very much at all outside of churches. Favoured by the gods may be appropriate when translating an ancient Greek myth, but we would want to rephrase it when translating the Bible. Lucky probably means something different now than it did back then. Whatever the word means, I can think of only one passage that contains multiple uses of makarios, the opening to what we call the Sermon on the Mount. And if you learned what are sometimes called the Beatitudes back in your Sunday school days, then you can probably remember the passage without needing to translate. So when I decided to translate the sermon Jesus preached on a mountain, as recorded in chapters 5, 6 and 7 of Matthew's Life of Jesus, much of it came out sounding like the Revised Standard Version, which in its turn often sounds like the King James Version, because it was meant to. These were the versions I used for memory work back when I was able to remember things. So I read a couple of more modern paraphrases to try to bring my language closer to the 21st century. Eugene Peterson's The Message and Rob Lacey's Word on the Street. And then I used Tom Wright's more traditional New Testament for Everyone as a counterbalance. Then I reached for my Greek Testament. I used the 4th revised edition of the United Bible Society's Greek Bible text, if you're interested, and off I went. My attempt is not perfect, and none of the English Bibles I used to help me are perfect either, but it gave me something to think about, and I hope it does for you too. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the hillside and, like a rabbi preparing to explain the scriptures, he sat down with his disciples around him. He took a breath and began to teach. God is with you if you're poor in spirit. The heavenly kingdom is yours. God is with those who mourn. You're going to be comforted. God is with the meek. You're going to inherit the earth. God is with all who hunger and thirst for his justice. You're going to be filled to overflowing. God is with the merciful. You'll receive mercy yourselves. God is with the pure in heart. You will see God. God is with the peacemakers. You'll be known as his children. God will be with all who are persecuted for following his way. The heavenly kingdom belongs to you. God is with you when people slander you and persecute you and say all kinds of wicked untruths about you because of me. Celebrate and rejoice. There's a great reward for you in heaven. That's just how they persecuted the prophets back in the good old days. You're the salt of the earth. But if salt loses its taste, how's it going to get it back? It's useless. You might just as well throw it away. You're the light of the world. You can't miss seeing a city that has been built on top of a hill. Neither does anyone light a lamp and put it under a bucket. The place to put it is on a lampstand, because then it can give light to everybody in the room. That's how you must shine your light in front of people. Then they will see what you're doing and they'll give glory to your heavenly Father. Do not suppose for one moment that I came to destroy the law of Moses or the teaching of God's prophets. I didn't come to destroy them. I came to complete them. I'm not joking. Until heaven and earth disappear, not one pen stroke, not a single dot above a letter I is going to disappear from the law until it all comes true. So anyone who relaxes a single one of these commandments, even the trivial ones, will be at the back of the queue to enter the new kingdom. But anyone who keeps the law of Moses and teaches others this law will be called great in the new kingdom. Yes, let me tell you this, unless your religious behaviour is far superior to that of the experts and the fundamentalists, you'll never get into the new kingdom. You've heard that it was said in the old days, you shall not murder, and anyone who commits murder is going to be judged. But I'm telling you that everyone who is angry with his sister or brother is equally liable to the same judgment. Anyone who uses foul and abusive language will be going straight to court, and anyone who despises a sister or brother will burn in hell. So, if you're on your way to worship God with money to put into the collection, and on the way there you remember that your brother has accused you of something, leave your gift right there. Don't waste a second in going to sort things out with your brother. Then you can come back and give your gift. Make friends with your opponent quickly while you are with him in the street, in case you get handed over to the judge and the judge hands you over to his official and you end up in jail. I'm telling you the truth. You won't get out until you've paid everything down to the very last penny. Jesus had more to say. You've heard that it used to be said, you shall not commit adultery. But I'm telling you that anyone who gazes at a woman and fantasizes about her has committed adultery with her in his heart. This is serious, really serious. So if your right eye leads you astray, tear it out and throw it away. Yes, it's better for you to lose one part of your body than for the whole body to end up in hell. And if your right hand trips you up, cut it off, throw it away. Yes, it's that serious. It's better for you to have one part of your body destroyed than for your whole body to go to hell. It was also said in the old law that if someone divorces his wife, he should give her the legal paperwork to prove it. But I say to you, if you divorce your wife, unless she's been unfaithful, you've made her commit adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman also commits adultery. Again, you've heard it said to the people in olden times, but you shall not swear an untrue oath, and must give God what you promised under oath. But I'm telling you not to swear at all. Don't swear by heaven, because it's God's throne. Don't swear by the earth, because it's God's footstool. Don't swear by Jerusalem, because it's the city of the great King. Don't swear by your head, because you can't make one hair of it change colour. When you're talking, say yes when you mean yes, and no when you mean no. Anything more than that comes from the devil. You have heard that it was once said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, don't use any form of violence to resist evil. Instead, when someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn the left one towards him. When someone wants to sue you and take your coat, let him have your shirt too. And when a soldier press gangs you into carrying his load for 1 mile, volunteer to go a second one with him. Give to anyone who asks you, and don't refuse someone who wants to borrow from you. You have heard that it was once said, love your neighbour and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies. Pray for people who persecute you. That way you'll be children of your Father in heaven. After all, he makes his sun rise on good and bad alike, and sends rain both on the faithful and on the faithless. Look at it this way. If you love those who love you, do you expect a special reward? Even the bad guys do that, don't they? And if you only greet your own family, what's so special about that? Everyone does that, don't they? Well then, you've got to be perfect, just as your Heavenly Father is perfect. When you're spending time with God, mind you don't do it with an eye on the audience. Otherwise, there will be no reward for you from your Heavenly Father. For example, when you give money to charity, don't make a song and dance about it. That's what the fakes and the phonies do. They do it so that people will be impressed by them. I'm telling you the truth, they've been paid in full. No, when you give money, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That way your giving will be in secret, and your Father, who sees in secret, will repay you. When you pray, you mustn't be like the play actors. They love to pray to the audience so that they will be noticed. I'm telling you the truth, they have been paid in full. No, when you pray, go into your own room, shut the door, and pray to your Father who is there in secret. And your Father, who sees and hears in secret, will repay you. When you pray, don't gabble away in Christianese. What's the point in that? Your Father in heaven wants quality, not quantity. So say what you mean and mean what you say. You see, your Father knows what you need before you ask him. So this is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, may your name be honoured, may your kingdom come, may your will be done on earth in the way that it is done in heaven. Give us what we need for each day as it comes, and forgive us for things we owe, as we have forgiven what was owed to us. Don't bring us to the great trial, but save us from evil. You see, if you forgive people the wrong they have done, your Heavenly Father will forgive you as well. But if you don't forgive others, why should your Heavenly Father forgive you? When you fast, don't put on a show like the play actors. They make themselves a picture of misery so that everyone can see what they're doing. I'm telling you the truth, they have received their payment in full. No, when you fast, smarten yourself up just as you normally do, so that others won't notice you're fasting, except your Father, privately. Then your Father, who sees in private, will repay you. Don't try to store up treasure on earth. Moths and rust will eat it away, and robbers will break in and steal it. No, store up for yourselves treasure in heaven. Moths and rust can't get at it there, and no robbers can break in and steal it. Show me what your treasure is, and I can show you where your heart is. Your eye is like the lamp of your body. So if your eye is open and honest, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is evil, your whole body is in darkness. So if the light within you turns out to be darkness, it doesn't get any darker than that. None of us can serve two masters. Otherwise we will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to the first and despise the second. You cannot serve both God and anything else. So let me tell you something important. Don't worry about your life, what to eat, what to drink, and don't worry about your body, what to wear. There's more to life than food. There's more to the body than how you clothe it. Have a good look at the birds up in the sky. They don't plant seeds. They don't bring in a harvest. They don't store things in barns. And your Father in heaven feeds them. Think how different you are from them. Can any of us add an inch to our height just by worrying about it? And why worry about what to wear? Take a fashion tip from the lilies out in the wild. They don't work, they don't weave, but let me tell you, not even King Solomon in all his finery was dressed as well as any one of them. So if God gives that sort of clothing even to the grass in your garden, which is here today and on the compost heap tomorrow, isn't he far more likely to clothe you too, you doubters? So don't fuss on with you, what'll we eat and what'll we drink and what'll we wear? Those are just the kind of things the doubters fuss about, and your Heavenly Father knows you need them all. Instead, make your top priority God's kingdom and His way of life.